Um, oh, where is this thing? Oh, here.
Terry Butler is going to be our salon judge for this month. She's been in photography for most of her life, and she's been judging for 10 years. I know her through a workshop I met you, I believe, on a John Greger workshop.
Oh,
years
could
ago.
be, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she's also part of the TCACCC, or the Twin Cities Area Camera
Council of Camera Clubs.
Council Camera Club. So I'd like to turn the floor over to Terry Butler.
Well, maybe you'll clap after I'm done. I was hoping Diane Herman would be here. I don't think it's a surprise that some photographers belong to more than one club. And Diane became a member of my club in Wisconsin a couple of years ago. And my club belonged to not only the Camera Council here in the Twin Cities, but we belong to what is called N4C. It's a group of camera clubs throughout the Midwest with probably about 30 different member clubs. And she submitted a photo that ended up taking their year-end award for nature. And you probably have seen the photo. It was a grizzly bear eating sedge grass. And I've had this award for her I was hoping to give it to her. So I'm hoping that someone here will give this to her.
We're going to Theodore Roosevelt in 3 weeks with her, so that's awesome.
Okay. Okay. All right. These photos were they're shown to me not in the order I was expecting. I was expecting the lower scored photos. I think this one was, I gave it a 9. Can you confirm that? Yeah, okay. I love this photo. When I was looking at it on the monitor on my computer in Lightroom, where I could really zoom in, those eyes just, you know, I thought, boy, I sure wouldn't want to be something that he's targeting. You know, those eyes just got me. And the only reason it didn't get a 10 is I thought this felt kind of awkward, like there was so much weight on this one side of the photo. And what I did was I took this in Lightroom and I kind of cut off this much of it, left the tree, and then took a whole bunch off the bottom so that it was a square. And what that did was it made the owl bigger in the frame. And that I thought that was an improvement. But look at all that wonderful detail and the background, terrific. And who took this photo? Huh?
You do that at the end.
Oh, okay, okay. So next. I think I saw one of these in this in the program just a few minutes ago. I look at the detail in that bird. Unfortunately, there's a lot of detail on the foliage around it, and I found that distracting. And there's a whole bunch of photos. Well, not a whole bunch, but there's a number of photos in this salon that had a lot of distractions because the backgrounds were or even here the foreground cause a lot of distractions. You know, compared to this to the owl just previous to this, and you compare the environment, the owl photos had the perfect environment where this didn't. But you know, when you go out and take pictures, you have to go with what you've got. You know, if you go to Costa Rica and you get a picture like this, I mean, that's a real prize. I don't remember what I scored this now. But yeah, okay. There were a number that I scored 7s, and mostly just because of the environment that you can't change. One other thing about taking pictures. I loved Glenn Kennedy, and he always says, if it's important to you, it's important. you know. Competition is one thing, and just taking pictures for the joy of it is also a good thing. Okay, next. Oh, I know this had a 10. It got a 10. What a unique photo. This is first time I saw anything like this. And everything is just tack sharp. And one of the things, you know, the number three of anything in the same composition is kind of a magic number. But then to get this one bird in flight, like it was, you know, like it was frozen in flight. I mean, this is just, wow. I'm sure that one got a 10. Next. Okay, this is probably another one of those number 7s. You know, beautiful capture of the bird. But unfortunately, you know, the things here really kind of interfere. And like I said, you can't help that sometimes. When I zoomed in on the feathers on this bird, I thought they could have been sharper looking. And in Lightroom, you can make a mask with a brush and set the brush to texture, and it brings out a lot of the detail. Just a tip. But otherwise, this is really a wonderful capture of the bird, and it's a good composition too. Leaves a little bit room in front of him. Oh, and then this. Where do you see a water drop like that? I thought that was crazy. Crazy good. Next. Oh, this is really beautiful. I love the layers from dark to going back and further. It really gave you a feeling that you were there practically. The only problem I saw with this was, you know, your eye is going to look for the greatest contrast. And here, this was kind of an area of great contrast. And then way down here is a bird that drew my eye away. But otherwise, just beautiful. I love the fogginess of it. A lot of contrast there, a lot going on in the foreground, and then this feeling of softness in the background and peace. Hmm? Do you have it written down, I think? Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, just because of those two distractions. You know, I feel like being a judge, you have to pick something apart in order to justify a non-10. Okay, this one I think is probably a 7 or an 8. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I gave it a 9 because of the storytelling here between these two birds. And it didn't get a 10 because I think the photographer could have cropped in to just these birds. You know, you're going to look for what's sharp in an image. And one of the sharpest things in the image is here, and he's a distraction. I would have cropped him out and made it almost a square, and maybe even done a vignette around them to help eliminate all the other birds. Okay, tell me what the score is every time before I start talking. Yeah. 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 I'd like to know where this photo was taken. On the bigger screen here, I see even more detail in the field here and all the flowers. Look at all that color, that glorious color. The gold in here. And of course, the rainbow. I don't know what else to say about this photo, except it's just fabulous. Next. Yep. When I saw this, I thought razzle dazzle. You know, it seemed to just like you were wearing a diamond ring and it was being flashed in the sun. I just love that. And all this gorgeous detail in here. Lovely. And I like the way it bends over. It's like, you want to leave space for an animal to walk into the frame. I think flowers need to have that kind of space too. And this is perfect composition for that. Next. Okay. Okay. This one on my screen, I felt like I could reach out and touch it. It was just, it was a feeling that it gave me. Perfect background and all that detail. I mean, just my God. If I ever start taking pictures of birds, I want to be able to take a photo as good as this. Nice catch light. And you can really see all the texture in the feathers. Next. Yeah. There were a couple of reasons I gave sevens to some images is because really the Gentoo is the subject of the photo, but he's just not big enough in the frame. I would have, cropped way in on him. Otherwise, the sand dunes are really interesting to look at. Lots of color variations, lots of really good tonal range. And of course, the Gentoo is just a wonderful exposure, just not big enough in the frame. Next. I really got a kick out of this one. I thought, boy, that egret is just having a blast. He's just strutting his stuff and he's just happy. Again, a perfect exposure on the bird, lots of detail in the feathers. The background doesn't compete, and there's just enough room for him to run into. Yeah. Next, yeah. Okay, I'm pretty sure I gave this one a 6. A 7? Okay. Some clubs have, in their salons, they have a group of people newer members can submit photos to a beginner kind of competition. And that's where a photo like this belongs. The deer on the left, the buck, is beautifully captured. Lots of detail there. But the doe is totally out of focus. And that could be improved by cropping the doe out. But what would be even better is if you had a background that wasn't competing. Next. Okay, I think, I think I gave this a 7. Yeah, I gave it a 7. Now, it didn't seem that evident here as it did on my home. But the coloring on the owl and the background looks a little unnatural. And I tried playing with, in Lightroom, I tried adjusting the color temperature, and I saw some improvement there. Wonderful detail, great composition. The owl is in the perfect place in the photo, and what he's sitting on, nice, sharp, and his eyes just glow. I almost got lost just in the glow of his eyes. But the color just seemed a little unnatural. And maybe I don't know enough about owls, but I didn't see a whole lot of detail in the feathers in this area. Next. Okay. I'm pretty sure this was given a 6. Yeah. Again, the fact that subject is really well done. I haven't seen. Um, And I don't know if I've ever seen an owl photograph where the bird is flying. And the capture of the owl was really well done, the right shutter speed to stop that motion, if that's what you wanted. But again, he just didn't fill enough of the frame. You want to be zoomed way in, use a longer lens to make that happen. But the sky, great, not competing. Next. Did I give this one a 7? Yeah. Okay. Subject matter, the point of interest is this tree. This is really what your eyes, I think the photographer wanted to draw your eyes to, is this tree. And I love the light on that tree. It's almost like backlit, even though it's foggy. It's just not, that part of it is not big enough in the frame to make an impact. So I would play around with cropping that differently in different ways. Next. Yeah, Diane told me that storytelling is an important part of the judging and an important part of the scores. And this got an 8 because of that. It really tells a story of, it's almost human. You see birds or other animals doing things, taking care of their children, and it kind of feels like we're all the same. And I just love this wonderful story. And the colors and the details on the birds are pretty good. Next. Okay, this one I gave a 6. Because when I looked at that image, I thought, this probably doesn't really qualify for nature. To me, the redwoods looked like they were captured using intentional camera movement up and down. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But then there's this foliage here, some of it in focus and some not in focus. And it looked to me like this picture was made by putting 2 layers together. And I'm just not sure that fits nature. I love the treatment of the trees without that foliage, because you feel like there's some depth there in the receding trees. Next. Okay, I've been to the Oregon coast and I've taken pictures like that, maybe at the very same beach. This is wonderful. I think I gave this a 9, an 8. Okay, it got an 8 because the horizon is not level. But otherwise, I love the detail from front to back. And, the sky adds some drama. And, this is interesting too, the sand. Next. This not only is just gorgeous because of the detail on the birds and the wonderful background, and I like the way this branch is moved up at an angle. It adds a little more rhythm to it and balance, but it tells a fabulous story. That poor bird on the right isn't getting his share, and he's letting you know. Yeah. Next. Okay, I think this is another one in the beginners category. It's kind of neat to have 2 subjects in the same frame. You've got this beautiful deer, and then you've got those flowers. They're both interesting in themselves, but the problem is the deer is in focus and the flowers are not. And even if the flowers were in focus, you end up having 2 subjects in the same photo, and one is enough. But really nice capture on the deer. I mean, you can see his eyelashes, and he's got nice catch lights in his eyes. Next.
This one's 6.
Yeah. And this one I gave, yeah. There isn't anything wrong with the capture here. The detail is perfect. And the background is wonderful. And I like the composition with his beak leaning down at an angle that made him feel more dynamic. It's just that on my monitor, it looked like it was over-processed a little too much, over-sharpened. Next. Oh, okay. I'm surprised I didn't give it more than that. Where else do you see the eye of an albatross? I mean, I should have given this a higher score because it's so well done and it's so unique. And, you know, the placement of the eye in the frame, everything is perfect about this. And it's just so, so unique. Next. I'm pretty sure I gave this one a 10. Yes. Gorgeous, gorgeous detail. I kind of wonder if the photographer did do stacking to get this. The background is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. And I like the way the flower kind of is, you know, it makes me think it's arching toward the sun as it's opening, you know, its petals. Gorgeous photo. I can talk real long time about things that are wrong with photos. And I just, you know, when you see a photo like this, what else can you say? But, oh my God, you know, this is gorgeous. Next. Here's another pass flower. I think I gave this an 8. This also had the same detail in the flower, different colors. And it didn't get as high a score because I didn't think it took up enough of the frame. It would have been nice if it was a bigger part of the photo, you know, like cut off here. And this was a little bit distracting too, down here. Next. A 9, I think, or a 10. Oh my gosh, should have given it more. I mean, look at all that detail. The eyelashes, the whiskers, and my God, the mother licking the baby's forehead. I know, this here, there seemed to be something funky going on with the tail of this one fawn. And that bothered me. That's why I'd only got an 8. But what a beautiful story. Next. Oh, okay. Oops.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks for having.
All right. Starting with the 8s. The Honeysett Dritz, Dark-Eyed Junco Portrait. Eric Gustafson, Sandhill Cranes Tending to Their Colt. Mark Ye, Cannon Beach. Alan Schultz, Black Brown Albatross Eye. Scott Lanzadil, Task Flower Reach for the Sky. Alan Schultz, Whitetail Doe and Fawns. For the 9s, Paul Kamen, Great Gray Taking Off. Mark Ye, Kissing Gannets. Carl Fogenschuh, Rainbow Sunrise Paradise Pass. And for the tens, DM Propst, 2 bison and 3 cowbirds. Rick Graves, Frosty Pask Flower. Don Specht, Great Egret Running on Water. Carl Feigenschuh, Red-Legged Honey Creeper Food Fight. Don Specht, Pask Flower. That's it. Good night. Drive safe. Thanks for coming. Can someone grab the lights, please? Who has the sign up for the potluck? Because I never got it. Okay. Great.